Ready?
Go.
You just gonna bedazzle that? You just leave it on there. Easy. Here's one.
I'm using all these up.
You pretty good? Can you say bedazzle data?
Bedazzle
Bedazzle data?
Adam, that's a great look for you. I would love to see you in our next staff meeting looking like that. So maybe you can put on that again for next staff meeting. What's up, guys? Hello, my name is John Kim, and I'm the pastor of student ministry at our Lexington campus. And I would like to welcome you guys to Grace Students Live. Woo, woo, woo. We're so excited to have you guys here, where we get to spend some time together learning about Jesus, having some fun together, and just discovering life with God with friends. And so we're so glad that you have joined us today. As you guys probably know, this summer's been brutally hot. And although I'm wearing the sweatshirt right now because I tend to get cold really easily, but it's been a pretty hot summer. And so today we decided to do a little bit of a challenge with our leaders. We're gonna do something called the Ice Bucket Challenge. And this is not the Ice Bucket Challenge from a few years ago where you dump something on your head to raise awareness for ASL. Where we raise awareness for not American Sign Language, but ALS. We are gonna be doing a challenge where we're going to see who can stay in a bucket of ice for the longest time. And I will be in that challenge as well coming up right now, and I guarantee you I will come away with a victory. So I'll see you guys on the other side.
We have 240 pounds of ice here for our people. Let's do this. Look, how are you feeling about your chances?
I'm not feeling good.
Not feeling
I'm
good?
not feeling good. It's a bait and switch. I brought my wetsuit. I thought I could use that. Apparently that's against the rules. I don't know.
Not everybody has a wetsuit.
Well, you know, that's their problem.
Josh, how do you think you're gonna do today? Do you have any strategies? Imagine it's hot. Think your way to success. Major key.
I have to sit in this thing?
That's how we discussed on Monday. I'm very upset I'm doing this. Let's just say that. I'm very
Who are you
upset.
upset with the most?
At COVID-19,
It's 2020, bro.
I'm not happy with the situation.
It's gonna be
And the-
mad easy. It's gonna be mad easy.
The only student representative, you're gonna win, right? Right now.
Shut up, Foxborough. I'm gonna win for you.
That's right. So here's how things are gonna go. They're gonna hop in, they're gonna sit, and it's whoever lasts the longest. We'll add some ice, we'll make it more challenging, we'll do what we need to do to push them to their limits. This will either take a while, or it won't take long at all. When you...
Ruthie, you're looking pretty good. You're not screaming like the rest of everyone else. How are you feeling right
You're
now?
all babies, first of all.
Oh, shoot!
Secondly, I did grow up in Maine.
Okay. That's just like a day at the beach for
It's a
Ruthie.
day at the beach.
I see a winner right here, guys.
So we'll see.
I see a winner.
Lex is done. How you doing?
I'm still cold.
What was going through your mind when you stepped in there?
That I'm not getting paid enough for this.
How you doing?
Sorry.
Noah looks like he's in pain.
Foxborough is taking.
Hey! No, Noah's in the zone over there.
The campus that survives the longest is winning points for the fall retreat, where there will also be more points available as well as prizes.
One man, then we're getting dumped.
You know, Blair, I don't really appreciate the excitement in your voice when you say that.
I am doing this for James, Alex, I already called you out, Rachel, Maddie, Lois, another James, Michaela, Jenica. Oh, Jenica, I love you. I baptized you. The water was warmer then.
Look at the focus of why she's doing
Kim,
this.
Nathan, Nicole, the Watt kids, doing it for you.
She's doing it for you.
Don't NFL players do this after a game? Are you guys pouring more ice in once we hit 15 minutes? Why did I suggest that? I don't know. Oh, you're doing it anyways?
Yeah. Wait, whatever.
Pouring more ice in. He's the reason we're gonna be here till 10 p.m.
Ice.
That's okay.
Love ya. But I'm out. Ruthie's out. Ruthie's out.
All right, no shit.
Ruthie,
What?
you were dead set on winning.
I was.
Any thoughts or words?
My feet are just really cold. There's a reason, growing up in Maine, that I really didn't swim very often.
Oh, there it is.
Because it's really, really cold.
Are your legs purple?
Come on.
Oh yeah, baby! Woo! Yeah! Woo! Can you imagine being a Richard Rhodes neighbor? Ah! Crap! Oh no! What, Josh? Was it worth it?
We're gonna do a hold your breath, and the first one pops up. Done. I will tap.
Wait, I can't get under though like this.
Are you really
No,
gonna
no, no. It's kind of like really weird.
Take it. Go.
That's a well-earned victory right there.
Well, a noble second place.
I failed you. I failed you. The youth. It's youth.
Yeah.
The youth of the world will dominate. I didn't take as much of a breath as I should have. That was my
Did you
strategic
have
failure.
the ability to take in the breath
Yeah,
that
no.
you needed?
And they wouldn't let me use my wetsuit, which wasn't really fair. I'd be here till 10 p.m. tonight, and I would have brought the medal home to Eastlex.
Noah, you have won a championship for Foxborough. However, if you can form a sentence What sentence do you wish you could form right now?
Let's go.
Nice.
Okay, I'm sorry. I told you I was gonna win, but I'm terrible with the cold. So I'm sorry I lost with 30 seconds into the game, okay? Sorry, Lexington, for disappointing you. But this competition really matters because these points that we accrued from today's game is actually gonna be a part of our fall retreat together. And so these are the first points that will be rewarded to Foxborough, who just won our game today, and not to Lexington, who I'm sorry to disappoint. I'm sorry, guys, but I just can't. Sorry. But these points will be awarded to our fall retreat, and I will tell you more about that in just a little bit. But congrats to Fox for winning our first game today. Before we go into our teaching for today, I just want to ask you guys a question. Have you ever been surprised before? And what was that like? Sometimes surprises are good, sometimes they're bad. I remember one time I got really surprised because I was doing the dishes one time at home, and my leg was getting a little itchy, and so I started itching my leg with my foot because I was like, oh, maybe I got a mosquito bite, and so I started itching it. And then I looked down, and surprise, there was a snake on my leg, in my house, crawling on my foot. Now, that wasn't a really pleasant surprise because I am deathly afraid of snakes. But it was a surprise because it was something unexpected. And that's what surprises are. And one of the biggest surprises in history was when Jesus came back from the dead. And he was resurrected from being crucified on the cross. And it was unexpected. Well, actually, the disciples should have expected it a little bit because Jesus told them that that's what he was going to do. But it was unexpected because they just couldn't fathom the idea that that's what was going to happen. And when that did happen, when that unexpected surprise happened of Jesus coming back from the dead, it changes so many different things. When he shows love and grace and favor to people that spat on his face and mocked him and hated him, it changes so many things. One might say it changes everything.
When I was a kid, I lived in a lot of houses, 8 to be exact. I lived in many houses because I moved so much. I moved so much that to this day, I really hate it when people ask me the question, where are you from? I literally have no idea what to tell them. And if you moved a lot in your life, maybe you understand what I'm talking about. Every time I moved, it was like starting my new life over and over again, making new friends, figuring out a new school, saying goodbye to the place that I had just started to love. But the most memorable move for me, I'm pretty sure, was when I was in the middle of 6th grade. I had amazing friends from church, and my school was just awesome. When my parents told me that we were moving from Kansas to New Jersey, I was pretty mad. I had no idea what my new life in New Jersey would look like. I had to say goodbye to my friends, and in June, at the end of the year, we moved across the country, driving for several days. And you guys, I hated New Jersey. It was hot, it was rural, and everything smelled like cows. I honestly hated it. The closest mall, the closest Panera was 30 minutes away. I would call my friends and cry, telling them that I was going to sneak out of my house and walk across the country to get back to Kansas. I told my parents all the time how much I hated it. They just told me to wait it out and wait until school started so I could make new friends and join the choir and the theater club. But somewhere along the way, I think my mom got kind of worried about me because she ultimately decided that I was in need of a pretty big surprise. It was a sticky August morning. School was about to start in 2 weeks, and my mom told me to get in the car. She hid the GPS from me so I couldn't see it. And we sat on the car for about 3 hours, driving through Delaware and eventually making our way to Maryland. We parked in this very weird, dark parking garage, and my mom told me just to follow her. I followed, annoyed that she wouldn't tell me about where we were going. We went into the restaurant. She walked me over to a table. And at this table sat some of my closest friends and their parents from Kansas. They smiled at me and yelled, "Surprise!" as I walked down. And I sat and we shared a meal together. We spent the day walking around the city of Baltimore, going into tourist shops, eating way too much ice cream, and then we had a giant sleepover in our own hotel room that night. Have you ever been surprised like this? I would love to hear your stories about the surprises that your friends and family have pulled on you. Maybe you had a surprise birthday party, or maybe you helped pull off a surprise retirement party for your grandparents or some of your parents' closest friends. I'm telling you, you guys, this was a really, really good surprise. I got to see my friends and spend some really precious, good time with them before I started the school year. We've been spending our summer walking through the book of Mark and Jesus's life. And on paper, I think it's pretty safe to say that Jesus's life feels like one surprise after another. He was born in a stable. Surprising. He walks on water. Surprising. He feeds 5,000 people with 1 loaf of bread and 2 fish. Surprising. He heals women and people who are chronically ill. Surprising. The way that Jesus moves through the world is very surprising throughout the book of Mark. Everything Jesus does is surprising. And it's really only fitting that what happens after Jesus' death is just as surprising. Akash pointed us last week to Jesus' death. And while sometimes it might seem like death is the end of the story, and honestly, sometimes it is the end of the story, for Jesus, that is simply not the case. Let's read about what happens the morning after Jesus' death. Saturday evening, when the Sabbath ended, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Salome, went out and purchased burial spices so that they could anoint Jesus' body. Very early on Sunday morning, just at sunrise, they went into the tomb. On the way there, they were asking each other, "Who will roll away the stone for us?" from the entrance of the tomb. But as they arrived, they looked up and saw that the stone, which was very large, had been rolled aside. When they entered the tomb, they saw a young man clothed in a white robe, sitting on the right side. The women were shocked, but the angel said, "Do not be alarmed. You are looking for the Jesus of Nazareth who was crucified, and he isn't here. He has risen from the dead. Look, this is where they laid his body. Now go and tell the disciples, including Peter, that Jesus is going ahead of you to Galilee. You will see him there, just as he told you before he died." The women fled from the tomb, trembling and bewildered, and they said nothing to anyone because they were too frightened. So the Marys, as I like to call them, Mary Magdalene and Mary, mother of Jesus, they walk out to see Jesus' body, which is customary at the time. They bring all of the supplies, the spices necessary to make sure that Jesus' body is properly treated while it stays in the tomb for eternity. That's what happens after you die. And when they got there, I just imagine them like holding all of these supplies and dropping them because they're so shocked of what is happening. I would be absolutely shocked if I was expecting to go see something or someone and they simply were not there. So here I am just trying to take care of Jesus's body, but instead Jesus is missing and there's an angel in his place. That is far more surprising than any surprise birthday party and far more surprising than my surprise trip to Baltimore with my friends. This is probably one of the most surprising things that the Marys had ever encountered. The women go off together and they search for Jesus, just as they had been promised by the angel. Their bodies trembling with adrenaline, excitement, and probably fear and confusion as well. It is here in this moment that the Marys discover that Jesus has fulfilled his promise to them. He has come back. Jesus' resurrection from the dead is definitely the most surprising things that happened when Jesus is on earth. Sure, he's the Son of God. He can do anything, like the miracles that he performed were really shocking and countercultural and unexpected. But I think coming back from the dead takes his level of surprise to a whole new level. So Jesus dies for us, right? He takes on all of our sin and suffering so that we can get a chance to be with him again. He dies, physically dies, in order to forgive us. But when he comes back from the dead, he's fulfilling his promise to us that nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop him from loving us and coming back for us. Not even something as permanent as death. And there's nothing that you can do to make Jesus stop loving you. He will continue to surprise us over and over again with his love and his grace and his peace. Even when we feel like we don't deserve it. Even if we feel like the punishment for our sins is really death, Jesus continues to love us and continues to surprise us with the grace and the love that we feel like we don't deserve. And I think this is one of the most beautiful things about Jesus. He has and he always will continue to surprise us with his love, just like he surprised the Marys in his death and resurrection. We have an overwhelmingly loving God that never ceases to show up for us in our lives. And maybe you feel like Jesus doesn't hear you when you pray, or that Jesus can't possibly be on your side. You know, some things that you've done or some hard things that have happened in your life. And this is okay. It's normal to feel like this. This is why we need Jesus. We need Jesus in these moments where we feel so separate from him. But when we feel those things or experience those moments in our life where we can't quite grasp Jesus' love for us, or can't quite understand why Jesus would love us because of some of the things that we've done, I encourage you to be open for a surprise. There might be something that God is doing in you that you can't even expect or you can't predict. God's surprising love will always be there, even when we don't anticipate it. And as we close today, I want you to pray this prayer with me so that we can learn how to open ourselves up to God's surprises.
Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious. His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May His presence go before you and behind you and beside you, all around you and within you. He is with you, He is with you in the morning, in the evening, in your coming and your going, in your weeping and rejoicing. He is for you, 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 He is for you. May His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May His presence go before you and behind you and beside you, all around you and within you. He is with you, He is with you in the morning, in the evening, in your coming and your going, in your weeping and rejoicing. He is for you, 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 He is for
We're so glad that you guys joined us today. I hope you guys had a wonderful time with us. Hope you laughed a little bit, maybe cried a little bit, maybe laughed at me a little bit. But nonetheless, we're so glad that you guys joined us here today. So this was our last week of Grace Students Live. I know you guys are all so sad that we won't be coming back next week, but we will be coming back, as I mentioned earlier, for our fall retreat together. I know you guys are excited, but you guys might be wondering, how are we gonna have a fall retreat in the middle of the pandemic? Well, we're gonna be doing it virtually. So we will see you guys virtually for a fall retreat. I know things right now might be looking a little bit difficult because of the pandemic, and sometimes we can't do the things that we wanted to do this year, but we're just gonna roll with it.
Do you mind? Oh, no, yeah, go for it. Oh. Oh. Thank you.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. Are you ready? So excited.
Yeah, 2020.
All right. I'm a pregnant mama, and I've been craving a nice cold cup of chocolate milk all day. So now it's my chance to sit back and have my milk.
this virtual retreat is going to be amazing. There's going to be prizes, there's going to be swag to give out, there's going to be an escape room, there's going to be a lot of fun, maybe an opportunity to meet in some small, safe groups together. And so you will not want to miss out on this retreat. This fall retreat is actually going to be called Repurpose, because right now we're in a stage where a lot of things have lost its purpose. School, work, families, we've kind of lost a sense of what the purpose of all these things are as our circumstances have been changing. And so we're going to be thinking through together, how can we find a new purpose in this upcoming school year, in this upcoming year, and how can we do that together? And so you will not want to miss out on that. So we hope that you guys will register and sign up for that, though the registration will be out coming soon. So we hope to see you guys there. Now, thank you guys so much for joining us this past summer for our Great Students Live. We hope that you had an awesome time. It's been, it's been a summer. It hasn't been the summer that maybe you expected or I expected, but we're glad that you still were able to join us through this technology. And we hope you guys stay safe, and we hope to see you at the fall retreat. Bye, guys.